I wanted to get on this morning and just be really vulnerable because I had a thought, and I feel like I need to share it with you. So this is me right out of the shower doing exactly that. I have to be accountable to myself lately, so I wanted to talk a little bit about joy, because I met some friends last night and we were all talking about it, and one friend said something like, well, we were trying to recall like times that we felt joy or specific instances of joy. And one friend said that she couldn't recall anything specifically. And she thought about it for a little bit, and then basically we were like, skip, we'll go to the next person. And then it became a trend. Like there were a couple more people that were like, well, we just don't know what that feels like. I can't really readily recall anything. So I gave my personal example of riding my bike. It was beautiful, sunny outside. The sky was blue. It smelled like summer air. And I felt the wind in my face, and my daughter was riding her skateboard ahead of me, and her pink and purple hair was flapping in the wind. And I just remember taking a mental screen or snapshot of that right then and was like, this is joy, this is joy, this is joy, this is joy. But I could only have done that had I been able to be in the present moment. And the problem with joy, or the problem with people, is that we're walking around with traumatized nervous systems. We're walking around with all this unresolved emotion. And we're walking around in constant anxiety, fatigue, fight or flight. Like we're in stress response constantly. And what stress response does is it causes us to function purely here from our brain, our thought, and also it puts us into a place where we have to make like split-second decisions, where we feel unsafe or insecure, and just any kind of threat does that. Anything from like the shame that you may feel if your boss, emails you in the middle of the day, or just the anxiety that you're going into a new account for the first time at work, or you have a friend who's going through some things, or your child has some behavioral issues or something, puts you in a state where you feel stressed or worried. And in those states, we are essentially unable to live in the present moment because the nervous system takes over and does all the heavy lifting, basically. And we are just following suit. We're repeating old patterns from our past that worked for us in those times just to get the stuff done, to deal with it. But there's no present moment. There's no ability to get into a space where you can take a mental snapshot like I did to tell and remind yourself that this is what joy feels like. You don't have that space. So these people who are saying that, I can't recollect a time in which I felt joy, or it's hard for me to think of something, they're functioning purely from old patterns in the brain, in the nervous system, that were developed for survival purposes, to deal with chronic overwhelm, anxiety, worry, fear, frustration, irritability, all those types of things. So you are physically unable to develop joy or to invoke joy into your lives, and you're unable to feel it unless you can get into the present, and you're unable to do that unless we're able to put some of these old limiting beliefs and thought patterns to rest. And the only way we can do that is to regulate the nervous system. You have to start physically first and make sure it's getting all of the nutrients and oxygen and fluid that it needs to power itself, just like a computer that you would plug in that needs juice to work. You have to make sure those needs are met. You have to make sure that you're sleeping. If you're not sleeping, your nervous system cannot replenish and refresh itself. You can't clear your cache like a computer. It is like your brain is like a computer. You cannot clear your search history or your browser history or your cache or your windows if you're not getting into REM cycle sleep, if you're not reaching those deeper theta waves. So we've got to focus on that first, because you cannot meet higher level needs unless you're physically taken care of. Your body has to be at optimal working capacity for you to meet your safety and security needs, or your love and belonging needs, or your self-esteem needs, or your life purpose needs. We cannot meet those needs if we are in past or future living, if we're unable to be in the moment to process, if we have unresolved trauma, and if we have dysregulated nervous systems because of other reasons, specifically physical reasons. So that is my 2 cents for today, and I just wanted to tell all those people that are feeling like there's no joy in their lives. There is joy in your life. There's a lot of it, but you're not able to feel it or see it or sense it or anything. You can't live in it because you can't live in the present moment. I literally just got inside from rolling around in the snow naked. I was in the hot tub and I was like, ooh, how crazy fun would it be to just roll in the snow? Well, I don't know, I'm just going to do it. And I rolled in the snow. And I came in and I was giggling my ass off. I was like, it was so insanely fun and amazing. And I never would have done it had I not been able to recognize in the moment the stimulus that was in front of me, the snow, first snow of the year, and also the body awareness that, what does cold do for the nervous system? It jolts it. It really kind of resets it. It's shocking your senses. So I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it. And in the bathtub or in the shower earlier, I had another present moment of joy. I can't even remember what I was doing, but it was something specific that had to do with the smell. Oh, the towel. I love the feeling of the towel. And when you, with a fresh, dry towel, the first time you wipe your face after you get out of the shower, it's just like, oh. And then you breathe that in, and it's like, oh, that smells so good and so clean. And like, I feel like I'm wiping all the dead skin cells off of my face. And that is pure presence. I can enjoy this towel in this moment. If you're living from trauma brain, if you are repeating old patterns, if we are worried about the past or fearful of the future, we can't get to that space that you have to cultivate joy. Follow along for more advice on how to create that space. You can do it. There is so much joy for you in this life. You only get one. So let's find it together.